In my painting class at Skidmore in the summer of 2011, our teacher set up a bunch of um, still life items, and then we had to pick an angle to paint it from, and then, well, paint it. For one of our paintings, we were given a random item. Mine was a chestnut. We had to take random shapes from that item, and then the shapes had to be abstracted and then overlapped, and then where they overlapped, the colors would change. Another one of our assignments for that same class was to paint some drapes that our professor set up for practice and observational painting. Another assignment was our professor gave us a long list of items to choose from. The two that I chose were bubblegum and mint, and then we had to make an abstract painting that represented those two items. Another assignment was we had to go out somewhere on Skidmore's campus and pick a landscape to paint, and then paint it over the course of several days. Our last assignment for the class was to make a self-portrait. Our professor was purposely very unspecific as to how to make the self-portrait, so we can go in a variety of different directions. I chose to do a close-up of just my eyes, with one eyebrow raised, and then take the shades in my face and segment them, and make them all one color with different values. And I chose green just because green had a lot of different values to choose from. In the first year of my IB art class, we were given an assignment to pick an artist and then make a still life in the style of that artist. The artist that I chose was Frank Stella, who is an abstract painter slash sculptor. And I picked a bunch of items that related to a kitchen, so I called it Stella's Kitchen. In the same class, I explored a theme of science versus nature and connected it to a theme of symbiosis, so the two things were working together, science and nature, with the bulbs and the plants which are powering the tree. In the second year of my IB art class, we were given an assignment where we were given two paintings and we had to combine them stylistically in any way we wanted. We had to make three separate paintings that did this. The two paintings that I was given were The Card Players by Paul Cézanne and Chess Pieces by Juan Gris. In my ceramics class that I took in 10th grade, our final assignment was to make a chess piece combined with anything else that we wanted. I decided to combine a king chess piece with a lizard. In the first year of my IB art class, the first assignment that I made where I went in completely my own direction was a project where I decided to make a large papier-mâché dragon in the style of Dan Reeder, an artist that I saw on YouTube who makes large papier-mâché dragons. In the first year of my IB art class, we were given several assignments where we just had to experiment with different mediums. One of these assignments was we had to make a coil pot. For my coil pot, instead of just making a regular pot, I decided to make it more stylistic and abstractly shaped. Several years I entered the Olympics of the Visual Arts competition in Saratoga, New York. The competition has several categories like painting, sculpture, etc., and for each category there's a different problem. The problem for the sculpture category in 2011 was human form. So I made a abstracted human form that was made up of smaller, even more abstracted and simplistic human forms that created a full being together. In my sculpture class in 10th grade, I was given an assignment where we had to make several small, simplistic, stick figure-like human forms and then connect them at the arms and legs to make a bigger form together. This was my inspiration for my Olympics of the Visual Arts project. In the same sculpture class that I took in 10th grade, we had another assignment where we had to make a head sculpture of ourselves out of clay. Another project for the same class was we had to make a mask of a creature in the style of Tim Burton. Tim Burton has been an inspiration for a lot of my pieces, so the assignment was well fit for me. In the first year of my IB art class, we had to pick current events and make a piece on them. The current event that I chose was Canada getting rid of its penny. And then I made a piece illustrating how the penny was bad for Canada's economy because it costs more to make than it's worth. For the piece, I made a working conveyor belt which had objects going into the machine bigger and then coming out smaller to replicate how Canada's penny costs more to make than it is worth. For the first year of my IB art class, I made another piece that dealt with the idea of symbiosis. The old man and the dog replicate symbiosis because the old man gives the dog food and shelter, and the dog gives the old man a companion. To further push this, I suggested in the piece that the old man's wife had died by leaving an empty chair and several photos of her. In the second year of my IB art class, I wanted to make a piece that depicted several different religions cooperating together. I made a sculpture of Ganesh from Hinduism, Jesus Christ from Christianity, Buddha from Buddhism, and Poseidon from Greek mythology, all sitting around a bar together cooperating. In the second year of my IB art class, one environmental piece that I made depicted a withered man and a tree. The piece represents how years in the future mankind will have kept taking and taking from nature until it had resulted badly for both, which is represented by the jail cell with the tree and the man in it. But in the piece, I also wanted to show that after everything and after how many years we've tortured nature, nature will still forgive and help us out, which is shown by the tree which took the key to the cell off the wall and is handing it to the man. In my Sculpture 1 class in 10th grade, I had to make another piece in the same style as Tim Burton that made a small diorama of the character from the mask that I made earlier. In an introduction to drawing class that I took in 10th grade, one assignment that we had to do was to take several items like a cow skull and a bottle and some bones and make a still life out of it using charcoal. In the same introduction to drawing class, we had to choose from several different photographs of landscapes and then make a drawing of it using different kinds of mark making and different kinds of pencils. And finally, for the last piece that I'll be showing, in the second year of my IB art class, I decided to make a dramatic portrait of myself using unrealistic colors to show the light in my face, like greens and reds.